Welcome to World YouTube's Washington Report for this evening, July 24th, 2025. July 24th, 2025. Ooh, there's a lot in the news tonight. Some fun clips to play for you tonight, that's for sure. But before we get there, I want to make sure you are getting ready for a big premiere tomorrow night. Remember we went to Washington, D.C. the middle of May, spent 8 days there, did a lot of filming. Filmed a lot. And one of the places we spent, went for 2 days. We really need to go back and do a third day. But one of my favorite places to go when I'm in DC is Arlington National Cemetery. And we toured and got to film Arlington House big time. The Park Service people were so nice to us and gave us unlimited time in the house to film. And you all should go to there if you ever have a chance to go to the Arlington House, the home of Robert E. Lee. It was actually the home of his wife's parents. And his wife's father, his father-in-law, was the grandson of Martha Washington, Custis. And George Washington and Martha raised him as really like their own son. And so he had the middle name Washington, and he just loved his granddad by marriage, George Washington. And he built Arlington House in really to commemorate the life and work of President Washington, George Washington. And so it was great to go through it and to film. And we've been working on the documentary. So I wrote the script and did all the voice stuff here at the desk, and then sent Logan a lot of videos and other things I want in there. And then Logan, being the brainchild that he is, gets so much from his mother. Being the brainchild that he is, he went and created a lot of stuff with AI. And when I say I created stuff, I mean, he showed me one. I'm like, well, let's take full advantage of this. So give me one of him sitting at his desk, Robert E. Lee, after the Civil War, at his desk at the college in Lexington, Virginia. Give me one of him with his Confederate uniform on, riding a horse, which is amazing. You can hear the horse, the whole 9 yards. Give me one of this, give me one of that. And then I said, remember in the dining room, he ate dinner with Andrew Jackson, one of my other heroes. I'd love to see a video of them in the dining room having dinner there at Arlington. Bunch of stuff. Amazing what AI's created. So there it is. There it is, folks. There's the horse. Can we hear the audio with that, Logan? It's grabbing from his computer, but you can hear the horse. And what other footage do we have, Logan? We'll see some of it. This will premiere tomorrow night. This will premiere in the life of Robert E. Lee and Arlington House. It will premiere tomorrow night, Friday night, July 25th. July 25th tomorrow night, right here on World YouTube during Brennan House Live. We're looking forward to bringing that to you. How long is it going to end up being, you think, Logan? Around 40 minutes? And we're going to be doing a lot. Look at that. That's all AI. Logan built all that. Isn't that crazy? That's him reading his Bible. And then that's us filming. We did a lot of filming there. That's us filming the dishes. We filmed his Bible that he had. We filmed a lot of stuff. That's a lot of that dishes were from Martha Washington and George Washington that came down to her grandson who built Arlington House, who was the father-in-law of Robert E. Lee. Lots of great history. You're going to love it, including the close relationship that the Lees had with one of their slaves. She obviously had a lot of affection for the family and very protective of them. You'll hear about that because there she is right there. The historians want to make Lee out to be some kind of rabid racist, which he wasn't. And of course, even Eisenhower, I think it was Eisenhower in the documentary, had a picture of Robert E. Lee hanging in the Oval Office, and someone got mad at him, challenged him. We'll show you how President Eisenhower responded, talking about his great affection and appreciation of Robert E. Lee, as well as a clip by Donald Trump on his respect for Robert E. Lee. So exclusive documentary tomorrow night here on World YouTube. And of course, it's a part of our History channel. Just one of many things now will be at our History channel. Remember, we have a brand new History channel, worldyoutube.com/history. We have a Bible channel now, 24 hours a day Bible channel, worldyoutube.com/Bible. And we have a health channel, worldyoutube.com/health. So there you go. 4 channels now, Logan? Is that right? 5 in total. We got Worldview 2, which is one you're watching now, the Bible prophecy, the history, and the health. So 5. There you go. All right. Worldviewtube.com tomorrow night. And of course, a lot of this stuff we push it out for free is made available in part because you support our foundation. It lets us push out content like this for free that we would otherwise have to say, I'm sorry, you want to watch our brand new documentary on Robert E. Lee? I'm sorry, you got to pay for it. No, we don't do that. Can you show that one, Logan? Look at that. Surrendering there. Yep. Amazing. Lincoln signing giving him back his citizenship, right? But then he lost the paperwork. So he didn't have it. Oh, okay. He wasn't being charged, but he didn't have citizenship and he couldn't vote. And then Ford pardoned him in like 1975. President Ford pardoned him. So we have all that. Fascinating life of Robert E. Lee tomorrow night. I love Robert E. Lee. Then again, I was born in Jackson, Mississippi. So of course I love Robert E. Lee and all things Southern. All right. We're going to get some of the history right in this one too about Robert E. Lee, which is really sad. You go there to Arlington and they're really rewriting the history on Lee. They're not being fair to the man at all. Then again, what do you expect? That's the way it's going nowadays, right? All right, joining me now is Jim Paff, theconservativecaucus.org, theconservativecaucus.org. Well, it was kind of a slow news day. Of course, the House is out of session until September. I got to get that job. We got to get one of those jobs. We go out on July and come back in September. Give me a break. And they get health and they get benefits. Woo! I don't want that job. They can have it. But it's kind of slow news, Jim. And then all of a sudden, Donald Trump goes to the Fed and the whole news day changed. Did it not, Jim?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it did. Without a doubt. Donald Trump's brilliant, by the way. This was a brilliant setup.
It was. And that's a key word you just used. Set up.
Oh, it's a total setup.
Can you believe that Jerome Powell fell for it?
He surely did.
Would you not? Why would he say, I'm sorry, Mr. President, I'm not doing it? Because he could have.
He could have.
He could have said, come see me in my office. Come visit me at the Fed. Come on over. We'll have a visit. But no, I'm sorry. I'm not doing tours. Because I know I smell a setup when one's coming. But the dude took the bait. Why do you think he did it?
I honestly don't know. I guess he's not a politician, except that he's highly political. Who knows? It was really amazing.
He doesn't have any aides? No aides that say you're walking into a trap?
Well, just keep in mind, they're in a bubble at the Fed. They have no idea what's really going on anywhere. And so, and as with much of government is quite that way, where, you got government employees that really have no sense of reality, to be honest. All
right, well, here we go. Let's play a little, because you have a little behind the scene story to tell us, right?
Do.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Got a little scoop here, folks. Here we go.
Well, thank you very much. We're looking at the construction, and we're with the chairman, as you know. Chairman, come on over. And
come on over, because I'm about to roast you, and I don't need you standing off camera. I need you on camera to roast you. Oh, come on over, says the spider to the fly.
Just taking a look at what's happening, and it's a tough construction job. They're building basements where they didn't exist or expanding them, and a lot of very expensive work. There's no question about it. And Tim has been with me for a long time, and you're in charge of the committee.
Indeed. One of the reasons why I wanted to see it was the overruns of the expenses, wanted to figure out why.
Yeah. So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about $3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1,
3.2. This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added
our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no, but it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's
So,
not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them. But we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use. But no, we don't. Expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not under too much danger. So, any questions?
Mr. President, does the issue give you any? As a real estate developer, what would you do with a project manager who would be over budget?
Generally speaking, what would I do? I'd fire them.
Do you think this issue, Mr. President, gives you cause to do that?
Well, I'm here just really with the chairman. He's showing us around, showing us the work. And so I don't want to get that. I don't want to be personal. I just would like to see it get finished. And in many ways, it's too bad it started. But it did start. And it's been under construction for a long time. It's going to be a real long time because it looks like it's got a long way to go.
Yes, sir.
So.
President, are there things the chairman can say to you today that would make you back off some of the earlier criticism?
Well, I'd love him to lower interest rates. But other than that, what can I tell you? The country is doing really well. I just briefed the chairman on the deal we made with Japan. Japan is putting up $550 billion in order to lower their tariffs a little bit. That way they have a little bit lower tariff. And they also opened their country to free trade, which nobody thought was even a possibility. And we get a zero tariff in the free trade. We don't pay tariffs, and they're going to pay 15% on everything they send into our country. So it's great. But they put up, as you could call it, seed money. Let's call it seed money. You could call it anything you want, but it's a total of $550 billion. So nobody thought any of that was possible, and it's wonderful. And we're doing pretty well with the European Union, likewise. And we have some others. They're all really big, and our country's going to make a lot of money. We would be helped if interest rates would come down, but we're going to see how the board rules on that soon. I'd love to see them come down a lot. But we have a country that's thriving. We had a dead country 1 year ago. Today we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And we'll get this one finished.
Mr. President, you
Thank you.
that Jerome Powell's announced goal.
Amazing. That's it.
Here we go. All right. What do you make of that, Jim?
First of all, it's a masterclass.
Yes, it
It's
is.
a total masterclass by Donald Trump. Kudos to Senator Tim Scott, who had the goods on the Fed's spending and handed it right there to Donald Trump. I actually congratulated Tim privately on this. He's a really good guy. You've got, so it's a $2.7 billion cost so far. And notice what you have here. First of all, one aspect is Jerome Powell said, when asked, are we going to go over that? He said, no, doesn't look like it. But we have a reserve if we need to. He's seriously saying it might go further over cost. That's one thing. But the next thing is really wonderful because Jerome Powell did not know that Donald Trump had a document Tim Scott found for him that shows, and it's from the Fed, and Jerome Powell was not aware of the numbers, that shows it's $3.2 billion actually. And then this is beautiful. So, Powell totally took the bait. He says, oh, no, that's another building. And that's not new. Of course, it was 5 years ago. Well, what you didn't get out of this is how much that building was. So we go from 2.7 billion to 3.1 billion, accounting for this other building, which means that building cost about $400 or $500 million. So I did a little research on this. I asked Grok, and of course, this is not entirely comprehensive, but pretty good information. I was trying to figure out, okay, how many buildings in the last 20 years cost $400 million or more to build? And it's very interesting what you find. First of all, you find out that you had private sector buildings, things like Apple Park, that big, huge, round building there in the Bay Area of California, $5.72 billion. You had SoFi Stadium, $5.94 billion. the Cosmopolitan Resort, $5.9 billion. Government sector buildings. You had One World Trade Center, which was $4.49 billion. That was the rebuild of the Twin Towers. Yankee Stadium and the Aurora, Virginia hospital. So I dug deeper and I'm like, okay, so Grok, tell me, what, you don't find anything between 4 and 1.2 billion? Well, it sort of did, and there things like other arenas and fields that were built. And then I dug further, and the only other type of building that Grok could find were data centers for major tech companies, some of which are in the billions, some of which in the hundreds of millions. Like, what? That was just an old building, as he said. We're not talking about the $2.7 billion to redo the Federal Reserve building, which if you go into Washington, D.C., is not a very big building. It's really no bigger. I mean, it's not even probably a tenth of the size of the USDA building, which is the massive monstrosity complex on Independence Avenue, just down the street from Congress. This is what's absurd about this. This guy is so out of touch. The largesse is so outrageous with that Jerome Powell has gone way overboard, spending billions of dollars to restore a building that's not all that big. It just proves again, government doesn't get things done. When they try to, it only costs more than you can imagine. Just think of the rail to nowhere in California, another big government boondoggle. A big government boondoggle happening at the Fed, which is a boondoggle for in all of America. I mean, the reason we ever have inflation is because of the Federal Reserve. There's no other institution that can cause inflation. You can have price increases in industries from time to time, but inflation is a result of the Federal Reserve printing money. And these people are so outrageous in what they do that Jerome Powell couldn't even get, that he just proved how useless that institution is right as Donald Trump is standing there. I think Donald Trump knew exactly what he was doing. They got caught red-handed, and this is a bad look for Jerome Powell all down the line.
Indeed, it is. And here's a little bit more President Trump on the construction site. Here we go.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. And it feels very good, actually, to be back on a construction site. You know, if you remember, not so long ago, we rebuilt the old post office into the Trump Hotel, and we sold it to Waldorf Astoria. And it was a great success, and we had great luck with the building. We did a good job. We built it quickly and relatively inexpensively for about $200 million. And that was a big hotel, big project. But we looked around, and Tim Scott's here someplace. Tim, come on up. You saw what we saw, and the big thing is to get it done. They have to get it done. They have to get it finished. And very importantly, we have to get interest rates lowered in our country. Our country is the hottest in the world right now, but the one section, people are pretty much unable to buy housing because the interest rates are too high. We have no inflation. We have a lot of cash coming in. The tariffs have been unbelievable now. People that didn't even believe in tariffs are saying, what a great move that was. We have hundreds of billions of dollars coming in. Japan, just on one deal, is paying us $550 billion. And they opened up their economy. It's incredible, the deal. And they're happy, we're happy, everybody's happy. But we should have the lowest interest rate of any country, and we don't. We should have. Every point is worth $365 billion. So we want to get the rates down, but we also want to get the Fed building finished. So I met with the contractors, we toured it with the chairman, and we had a very good tour, and we'll talk to you about it sometime. But Tim and I, we sort of understand what happened.
Too expensive. Bottom line is this, that Americans deserve to become first-time home buyers. President Trump has created the best economy in the world. The one thing that would make it better is lower interest rates. Full employment is even more possible. Wages rise faster as interest rates come down when your employment is at 4.1% because of your leadership. We have revenues coming in at record-breaking, maybe last month even more revenue coming in than bills going out, which is remarkable.
They found $26 billion. They said, where did that come from? Nobody, I think that's been many decades since that happened.
I can't remember that.
They found $26 billion last month. And they said, where did that come from? I said, why don't you try the tariff? Said it was true. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars, and our country's doing great, and we have no inflation, and the numbers, the job, everything is good. The one thing we have to do is get housing prices down and the interest rates down so people can buy the house, because they're all making money, but they can't get the interest rate down. We have to.
Amen.
All right? And he's been my friend for a long
You've been
time.
on a number of construction sites. Did you see mismanagement going on or funds that aren't?
Well, I see a very luxurious situation taking place. Let's put it that way. And I was given a very nice tour by the head of construction. And, look, if you look over here, they're trying to open up the basement. When you open up a basement, first of all, it's the worst space. Always a basement is the worst space in a building. And it's also the most expensive space to build. And especially here, because you have a water line. They're going down into the water, so they have to build what's called a reverse bathtub. The water has to be kept out. It's very expensive construction. So it would have been good if they didn't build it. Would have been good if they didn't do certain other things. If you look at the kind of protection in the hall, have you been able to get in the hall? You saw the protection of plywood. I mean, that was a lot of money just to protect it for a period of time. I would have done it very gingerly and easily and not have to spend, millions of dollars on protection. And there are things that could have been different. Look, there's always Monday morning quarterbacks. I don't want to be that. I want to help them get it finished. It's been going on for years, and I want to help them get it finished. And what we really want to do, and I think I can speak for Tim, and I think I can speak for the entire Senate, we can speak for everybody, frankly, is we want to see interest rates come down. Our country is booming, and the interest rates is a final little notch. And if you look at Europe, they've lowered 11 times in a short period of time. We've lowered 0. And, they are competition, although we're in the process of probably making a very good deal with them, too. They want to make a deal very badly. So we're making a deal. We just completed our deal with Indonesia. We just completed our deal with the Philippines. We're making unbelievable deals, and the money is pouring in. We want to get interest rates down.
But on interest rates, at some point, does the level of interest rates now slow economic growth?
Yeah, it never helps it if it's high. Never helps it. Well, it's already as good as we're doing. Think of how well we'd be doing. We'd be like a rocket ship. As good as we're doing, we'd do better if we had lower interest rates. And we should. We're prime. Don't forget, without us, the whole world collapses. So we should have the lowest interest rate because, you can talk about Switzerland, you can talk about wonderful countries, no debt, but without us, everything collapses. We should have the lowest interest rate. And if you took it down 3 points, not a little bit, but 3 points, if you got us down to 1, we would save more than $1 trillion, basically with just a paper transfer. You wouldn't be cutting costs of anything. You wouldn't be building anything. Just a move of the hand saying we're going to lower interest rates. You would save $1 trillion a year. And there's nothing you can do to save that kind of money. So
Chairman say why he's not?
Well, we had a little talk about it, and I thought it was a very productive talk. He'll be able to tell you at his next meeting, but I will say that he did say the country's doing really well. And the country is really doing well.
Mr. President.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
How would you describe your talk with him? Would you say that the energy was tense? Did you come?
No, I didn't think it was tense. No, I thought we had a good meeting. I really, no, there was no tension. There was no tension. I think he had more tension with my great senator to the right. He's a pretty tough cookie. He was, you might say, well.
Bottom line is we had an honest, candid conversation about some of the overruns at this building. We had it in my banking committee, and he said we were wrong, and turns out we were right. Thank God President Trump and his team took enough time to dig into some of the details, and the details are clear. We need to get this project done. We would like to keep it where it is or a little lower, but at the end of the day, the point is that instead of talking about interest rates, instead of talking about first-time home buyers, instead of talking about the heat in our economy, that's a good thing. We're talking about an overrun on the Federal Reserve building as opposed to the Federal Reserve objective of lowering and keeping our economy full.
As an example, they built parking spots under a building next door.
Really expensive.
That's very expensive. When you're starting to build parking lots, underground parking lots, that's a very expensive thing. A lot of people I know, they park their car and they walk a block or 2 blocks or something.
My staff does.
But it is a very expensive thing. But that is what it is, and that's okay.
Is this project a fireable offense?
What?
Is this project a fireable offense for Jerome Powell?
Look, I would love to see it completed. I don't want to put that in this category. It's a very complex thing that could have been made simple. I built a great hotel, and the great hotel that everybody in this group knows very well, it's called the Old Post Office, and it's a much bigger project than this, and I spent $200 million building it. And it was taken down to the steel, for the most part, taken down, you've seen it go up. And I built it quickly, and I built it for $200 million. A much bigger job than this. Spent $200 million, and it's got marble bathrooms, the top fixtures, the best of everything, all brand new. So, this is a very expensive job. I don't know. It got out of control. And that happens. That happens. It's a shame.
Are you negotiating on auto tariffs? Your auto tariffs.
No, I'm not negotiating on auto
Does
tariffs.
EU looking at 15% like Japan?
Well, it depends. What Japan did is they brought down their tariffs. They gave us $550 billion because they didn't want to pay 20. They were 28%. And they gave us $550 billion up front. 100%, 500. We get 90, they get 10. 90%, they get 10. And there's no payment. It's not a loan or anything. It's a signing bonus, I call it. But they gave us $550 billion and took down the tariffs a little bit. And then they agreed to open their economy to everybody. This was not easy. This took, a lot of people walked out of rooms and things. Sometimes they walked out of rooms, went back to Japan.
Right.
I said, where are they? They went back to Japan, and then they called and they said, can we make a deal? They came back a couple of times this happened. This was, as you know, it was over a period of months, and ultimately they agreed to open their economy. Now, the opening of the economy is worth more than $550 billion, the payment that they made. It's worth more. So between that and the payment, we reduced it down to 15%, but they were at about 28%, and then they bought it down, basically.
But could other countries buy it down?
Yeah, I would let other countries buy it down, sure.
Mr. President, do you feel better or worse about your relationship with President Chairman after this meeting?
I feel good about it. I mean, look, I have one dispute, and the dispute is there could be some things with money and, where it comes from, how it's come from, how it's printed, where it's printed, all of the standard things with the Fed. But I just want to see one thing happen. Very simple. Interest rates have to come down.
Let's stop right there. I want folks to notice that there was a podium that was set up, okay? There was a podium that was set up for the president. He chose not to use the podium that was set up, okay? He chose to stay over by everybody else. He doesn't need a podium. He's not using notes. Very few presidents walk out and talk off the cuff, not knowing what's coming, and have no note cards and are quoting figures and dollar amounts. I mean, and he's 79 years old, for Pete's sake. You would think the mind might slip a little here and there, but I've never seen him in public slip. Never. But I just wanted to bring attention, Jim, to the fact that there was a podium. He didn't use it. He has no notes. So much about George H., George W., Barack. It was, of course, Biden. Everything was scripted. With those other presidents, scripted. Jim?
Think about what good physical condition he's in. Hulk Hogan passed away today at 71 years old, and there's Donald Trump at almost 80, just raring to go. The backdrop there is really an analogy of what's happening in this country. You have got government that is out of control. It is spending money like a drunken sailor, and government institutions and entities and employees, by and large, they have no care or concern for the American people. They care a whole lot about their six-figure incomes and maintaining those in an average salary that far exceeds.
Is that the show, Logan, or is that a break?
Americans.
That's the show. Oh, wow.
Oh, my.
TheConservativeCaucus.org. Great show featuring Donald Trump tonight. President Trump. Take care. Tonight on the Worldview Report, Tulsi Gabbard said on Wednesday that she was referring former President Barack Obama for criminal charges to the Department of Justice. Republicans on the House Oversight Committee, they want to question Ghislaine Maxwell and the Clintons. One of the world's leading data experts has revealed that the insurance industry is now seeing up to 5,000 deaths every single week that are linked to COVID mRNA vaccines. And we'll unpack the reasons why your electricity bills are likely getting ready to go up. All these stories and more as the Worldview Report begins right now.
This is Worldview Report with host Brandon House. Whether it is news from the nation's capital or your state capital, from the classroom to the boardroom, from national security to national and local news that impacts you and your family, Worldview Report is your trusted source for vital and uncensored news. And now, here is Brandon House.
Good evening and welcome to the Worldview Report. I'm Brandon House. Leading off tonight, Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, said on Wednesday that she was referring former President Barack Hussein Obama for criminal charges to the Department of Justice. Here is Gabbard speaking at a press conference on Wednesday.
Do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
Ed, go ahead.
Director Gabbard, thank you. So just to, two questions, but to begin on that. The president yesterday, you've inferred that the former president helped lead a coup. Based on what you now see, do you believe President Obama is guilty of treason?
I'm leaving the criminal charges to the Department of Justice. I am not an attorney, but as I've said previously, when you look at the intent behind creating a fake manufactured intelligence document that directly contradicts multiple assessments that were created by the intelligence community, the expressed intent and what followed afterward can only be described as a years-long coup and a treasonous conspiracy against the American people, our republic, and an attempt to undermine President Trump's administration.
The Senate Intelligence...
A recently declassified report from the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence has shed light on the origins of the 2017 Intelligence Community Assessment, which claimed that Russian President Vladimir Putin favored Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. The document, made public by Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, says former CIA Director John Brennan pushed for the inclusion of potentially unreliable and biased reports to support his narrative, despite warnings from intelligence officials and the lack of solid evidence. But the order to publish the known Russian collusion hoax assessment, it came directly from Barack Obama, according to reports. He wasn't just aware of it, folks. He apparently ordered it. According to the document, acting on President Obama's orders, DCI Brennan directed a full review and publication of raw, what is called human information that had been collected before the election. CIA officials said that some of this information had been held on orders of the DCI, while others reported that it had been judged by experienced CIA officers that have not met long-standing publication standards. Some of the latter was unclear or from unknown sub-sources, but would nevertheless be published after the election. And it was done so on orders of DCIA and cited in the intelligence community assessment in order to support claims that Putin aspired to help Trump win. The 2020 report, it originally was classified and stored in a secure vault at CIA headquarters. And that was a result of an investigation initiated by then Representative Devin Nunes, Republican of California. It criticizes the rushed production of the ICA, which was commissioned by President Barack Obama and overseen by top intelligence leaders, including Brennan. Notably, the only classified snippet suggesting that Putin aspired to help Trump was a vague and unverifiable fragment from one of these problematic sources. The report further accuses the ICA of cherry-picking intelligence, ignoring or downplaying information that contradicted the preferred narrative. Reliable sources indicated that Russian officials anticipated a Clinton win and believed that they could negotiate effectively with her administration. Other intelligence showed that Putin was indifferent to the election outcome and even viewed Clinton as a weaker leader who could be more easily influenced. The assessment also failed to explore why Russia did not release additional damaging material on Clinton as the race tightened, despite having opportunity.